Hey guys, it's Mike with another King Arthur Legends Rise video. There's been kind of some talk about Revenant Merlin being a limited time character. I've been trying to confirm this. Look on the Discord or anywhere that Netmarble has announced this. I've seen it on Reddit from players that have mentioned her being a limited time character. I cannot confirm it anywhere. Not to say that that's not true. There's a couple of things about her that are a little weird. The first thing is she's the only character in the game, as far as relics, that has just the Storm Relic. Now, I kind of chalk that up to they just haven't launched the other relics yet. Maybe they're going to make that some sort of thing like Caliber and Arthur, where you earn those in different areas of the game, and they kind of trickle into the game a little later. I was just noticing they actually have 5 spots here for relics, which is kind of... I'd never noticed that before. I just assumed the 3 were centered among that, which might just be the case, but there could be a potential of over time doing 5 relics. That'd be kind of an interesting thing. I think potentially moving to a void relic would make sense, where it doesn't have any negative affinity, or but moving to a 5th affinity would be kind of interesting as well. So with that in mind, if she is a limited time champion that's not going to be entering the summoning pool after 6 weeks, it might just be that she enters later. It may be that whatever I have seen and kind of the rumors and the buzz around her is not accurate, and she will be in the summoning pool 6 weeks after launch. But if she's not, I would say it's probably, if you can make it happen by getting extra crystals or whatever the case is, getting a single copy of her on your account. Because once you have a copy of her, you can then use Mastery Memory Stones to level her up, so you don't have to pull 11 copies of her. But I'd at least get a copy of her on your account so you have one. If you can do it. I mean, obviously, it's everybody's account's different. We still have a week of the event going on, and so there are some areas in the game where you can pick up those Mastery Memory Stones we've talked about, like all the different shops, in the event dungeons, and even in the Forbidden Dungeon. As you get into the later levels, I think there's like 20 up for grabs. Also, as you get closer to the end of this guy here, with this Commander Pass, you can buy 10. You can also just buy 15, or you can buy 10 with 1,500 crystals if you have those. So it might be a time where maybe you spend those few extra crystals that you have on the account. Maybe go through your quests and your different areas where you haven't progressed in the game in story mode or in adventure mode, and try to get some of the extra crystals that are in there. But also in these achievements, if you go through, I think specifically in the challenges, I've done a lot of mine, but there's a lot of crystals here up for grabs in the challenges, in the estates. So just kind of rolling through here, and anything you're close to, you can kind of press on in that area. Like here you go, hero advancement. I could go advance 7 heroes and get 130 crystals right there. Awaken relics. Oh, that's gold. I need to be able to read. Equipment enhancement. So I mean, 700 equipment enhancements is kind of a lot, but there's rubies in there for me to go find. So there might be things in here that you're close to that you can go knock out just so you can get a copy of her on your account. That being said, as far as a champion, she does have a unique kit, but I don't think she's a game-changing champion. I think that until you reach Chivalry level 5, she really doesn't even do the purpose in which she was brought into the game, which is to counter the Anya meta in the the Colosseum. So if you can get her to Chivalry level 5, oh, we'll knock this out while we're sitting here breathing. If you can get her to Chivalry level 5, she'll be able to bring down the counter strike by 80%. She also grants more damage for your Storm heroes when specifically they're attacking Frost. What is this luck? I haven't seen this kind of luck in a long time. But when they're specifically attacking Frost enemies, so I mean that is kind of a cool part of the kit. I did actually switch up my arena team to Lancelot and Hild, just to do quick damage, and then she smacks, and I usually can take 1 or 2 people out before anybody gets a turn. Probably not my best team, but it is faster for farming, so it's kind of nice. But we'll kind of leave that where it is there. I did have somebody in the comments ask me how I get so many heals out of my Nika build. I did want to briefly talk about that, going through her equipment. So if you take a peek at what I have going on, I have her HP up at 56,000, which you can really only do with 6-star gear and utilizing HP percentage, not flat stat HP. So I've got a 6-star HP percentage on both the pendant and the earrings. Then you get the flat stat HP on the boots here, where you can get extra stats of HP. Like I don't have any right there. I don't know that I have. Okay, I got 2 rolls in HP here. I'm trying to think if I have crit rate. That's kind of random. That'd probably be better to roll that out of there for her. Crit rate times 3. This is a great piece for somebody else. Although if you're doing crit rate, you probably want attack percent. but that'd be great to roll that into attack speed so that she's going even faster. And then on here we got recovery plus 2% in the rolls there. I did actually recently move her out of a recovery ring to bring her heals down, but it wasn't to bring her heals down. So she was healing at I think like 24,000 with a recovery ring, but she was more than topping off my characters every time, but she wasn't running as fast. So I thought if I brought her out of a recovery ring, got her an attack speed, that way she's bringing those heals in more frequently. That'd be a big win there. I do only have a 5-star recovery on the belt, and then a 5-star attack speed on the orb as well, so I could get her even faster or do recovery. But my recovery percentage is down at 44%, which is actually pretty low. I used to have her up over 100%, which would bring in heals pretty big. But with that, she was running so slow that I was like, I really want to get those heals more frequently than necessarily as big as they are. And then an HP on the banner there. Again, 5-star. So I do have a lot of opportunities in my build to do a little better and get her HP even higher. But you really want to push her HP as high as you can get it. And then also push recovery up. If you want to get those big heals coming in. The other thing I would want to mention too is running her Frost Relic. On her A3, she gets a 20.5% heal when you get this skill maxed out compared to her Flame Relic. And I'm not maxed out here, but this is an 11%, and then it will gain some ground as you max it out. But I'm utilizing her Frost Relic mostly. So that is just a monster heal in general that's coming in with the Frost Relic. So that is another piece of the puzzle that you probably want to work on if you're trying to get those extra heals out of your Nika. So currently in the game, I'm actually trying to stack up some resources, get ready for potentially the next champion. Somebody is mentioning to me that they actually had a poster out with 6 different champions on it. Caliburn, Arthur, and Hild being on there. I don't know if Revenant Merlin was on there or not. But it sounds like there might be a few more champions ready to go. So we might see another back-to-back champion potentially next week. But I'm not sure. But I am trying to stack those resources on the account just in case. So as you can see on the statues, trying to get a few of those. I actually just brought up my Ceres to 6-star awakening, and so I do have some opportunities to stack up a few more of these legendary statues there. The rares are looking okay. On the talismans, I'm not doing too bad except on the serpents, the steeds, and the stags. But everywhere else I'm actually doing pretty well. So in that space, depending on what comes into the game, I should be in a good spot to be successful. I am trying to stack these guys up as well just to help me along the way. But I have been doing some upgrades also, so that has kind of taken away from some of those that have been in there. I spent a little bit of stamina out in the Stormcat with Tarask to get some extra legendary awakening stones. But it's funny because when you're doing the stage 10, getting the rare ones is actually almost hard, and the common is actually almost harder than getting the legendary. So these stack up fairly quickly, but I do need to stack up some of the smaller ones so I could get into those higher awakenings for your relics. I also switched gears a little bit, got back into Kromkrok in the Sealed Temple to try to get some legendary tomes stacked up. Doing okay in the rare space, but I definitely would like to get a few more legendary tomes. But it is tough because I go back and forth between the talismans and the tomes, and really having 12 serpent talismans and 12 steed. 74 stag isn't too bad, but I really like to have this over 100 at least on all 3 of these. But it seems like every time I go in there and fight, I get more of the ones I already have and not the ones I need. So it's kind of a little bit frustrating. But on the legendary tomes, there's only the 3 to get. So that does help you as far as picking those up a little quicker. So I'd like to get a couple hundred of those in preparation for that next champion that may come into the game. But let's take a peek at what we got in the item bag here. Let's do some summons on those guys. Grab these guys as well. See if we get lucky on a legendary deal there. Still looking for Bodwin's Flame Relic, which has been eluding me for a very long time. But outside of that, we're doing pretty good. There, we did get a rare relic there. We just picked up the Frost Relic for Vivian in the Shard Shop, which I think was a pretty big win. I think I've gotten 2 extra hearts on Blazing Gorgos since I added that to the account. About a week ago, I launched a video about characters that could come into the game, and there's some interesting things. Somebody mentioned that Nimue here in the actual Lake Avalon would be a cool one. And then as you kind of zoom in different places of the game, you'll see different people. Like here's a guy up here. They tell you this is Harrison. I don't think there's a Harrison in the game in the common uncommons. You got my lackadaisical worker down here. He doesn't even have a name. But now we're down to 10 days on the castle as he's building it with one swing of the hammer at a time. Here's a guy over here. What's this guy's name? Agnes. So there are other people floating around in the game that could be kind of fun, is bringing them into Emma. I don't know. She doesn't look much like a warrior, but I mean, maybe as an uncommon character or something like that. But there are a lot of, like, you know, artwork pieces that are already done for these folks in the game. So maybe making them a hero that you could actually get could be kind of fun. Fontaine there. But anyway, I digress. As we jump over into Lake Avalon, let's take a peek. Let's pull some normal summons. These guys are all tokens at this point. I've maxed out all the chivalries for rare and below. So we're just getting those tokens on the account. Didn't waste any of our luck on that one. On the special summons, we're 36 away from pity. We have a single 10 pull, so we'll go ahead and give that a shot. See if we happen to get lucky here. Not yet, but we still have that added chance. No, we did not. We did not. But it is always fun summoning, just getting those extra characters on the account. Those extra tokens in the shard shop. Oh man, I almost didn't buy this today. I gotta get in there every day, pick that up. But in here, like, if I had enough, I'd probably pick up this Merlin, Lancelot, both those characters. Even Gillian is needing some love there. So I'm picking these guys up is not a bad way to go. Definitely want to get that rate up summons every day. It's pretty cost effective and does a great job. Got the Vivian's Frost Relic. I could do Ceres' Frost Relic, but I do have her Flame Relic, which seems to be more heavily used. So I'm not super concerned. The next big relic I would really like to get on the account is Lancelot's Frost Relic. That's going to be a pretty big win. It kind of makes him a little more like Rosier with the single target dot damage as opposed to the AoE. But the benefit is having both of those relics on the account. You can go back and forth between the two and use what you need depending on how you're going. But I think we got a little bit of a short one today. I think that's about what I got. And it was just a matter of kind of looking through some of those Reddit posts and things talking about Revenant Merlin being a limited time champion in the game, which, if I want to be honest, I think is kind of a bad move just because there's not that many champions in the game. If there were a couple hundred champions and then they introduced a champion that you had to log in to get, I feel like that's a solid move. It kind of creates some excitement, creates some buzz later on when you're looking at your account. You say, hey, I was there when they launched this character, which is kind of cool. But with the limited amount of characters in the game, I feel like they need all the help they can get in there. But maybe that's just me and my 2 cents. So who knows? But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all the way to the end. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. It means the world to me. And I look forward to seeing you next time.